wish I could go back to college. Life was so simple back then. What would I give to go back and live in a dorm with a meal plan again? Ho, ho, ho. Hey there, this is thealisttv.com, and I'm your music maven, Janelle Mascarenas. I'm gaining you access beyond the recording studio, where our next guest takes us to the Broadway stage. Performer, singer, and songwriter Angela I shares her talents across a wide spectrum of the entertainment industry. Right now, she tours with the Tony Award-winning musical Avenue Q. This comical production utilizes puppets to teach life lessons for adults. Having a colorful, inanimate object tell me the truth about the world can be very effective. I don't know what better way to learn. Angela plays the role of an atypical Japanese therapist, Christmas Eve.
You know, I took a little bit from my mom and then a little bit from people that I met in Japan. Just kind of broiled it all in one. But you know, the way that this character is written, I mean, although she does have a quite heavy accent, but she is Asian. She's not Asian American. She's Japanese from Japan. And so it is natural that she would have an accent. But other than that, you know, she's not what you would stereotypically think of an Asian. You know, most people think that Asians are very quiet and very humble. And she's not like that at all. She's very loud, she's very boisterous, she states her opinion exactly the way that she thinks it. And she hits her husband a lot, you know. And so, you know, I mean, I've taken some of the things that I've learned over the years just growing up, but I've also just sort of mixed in a lot of the Americanized childhood as well.
And also, with this whole production, what would you say was the most important message that the audience members should walk away with after viewing this?
That the internet is only for porn. But no, I think the last song that we sing, it's a song called Only for Now. And it really, every single night that I sing it, I remember. It's like a thing that I constantly forget, and then every night I get reminded that everything in life is only for now. And so, essentially, you know, to be grateful for what you have right now, that I have this job, you know, that I have these friends, that I have my family, I have my health, and I think people walk away from that, you know, remembering that, and that's a good place to be.
Now, an interesting fact about you was you majored in finance and pursued a career as an investment banker. How did you transition to that into where you are today?
Well, that's a great. Essentially, I went to school at the University of Pennsylvania, and I did not even know that there was anything called musical theater. Like, I didn't know that you could major in that, which a lot of the people who are doing Broadway or doing these kinds of shows have majored in in this field. But I didn't realize that you could, so this was always my backup. And so I went to finance, and then I got a job in New York as a securities analyst, and I was so miserable that I decided I had to do something else. And all I ever really wanted to do was sing. And so I went to school at the Manhattan School of Music, and I majored in jazz voice, which I didn't even really like jazz at the time, but it was the only thing that I had available to me at the time. And I just learned how to write music. I'm also a singer-songwriter, so I learned how to write music and really appreciate jazz, and pretty much everything comes from classical and jazz, and I figured if I knew those two and my classical piano upbringing, you know, I could do anything in music.
Aspiring artists needs to be serious when pursuing a career in music.
I guess when I started doing this, when I left the finance field, obviously my parents weren't very happy, you know, growing up in a pretty conservative Asian American household, you know, it was like, jazz? What are you thinking? You know, singing? Like, this is not going to sustain you for the rest of your life. But I didn't really feel like I had a choice. And a friend of mine had told me this quote that I think it was Marvin Gaye. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. But I think he had said something like, "Don't sing unless you die if you didn't." And that's pretty much how I felt, you know. And so that's what I would say to aspiring artists. Just don't do this unless you would die if you didn't, because, you know, it's a lot of hard work. It's not all the glamour and glitz as everyone thinks, you know. There's a lot of struggle and a lot of pain, but, you know, when people ask me, isn't it really hard what you do? I say, yeah, it's hard, but it would be harder if I didn't. And so, do it. Do it.
Angela continues to influence the crowd with her powerful voice in the Avenue Q North American tour that ends September 2008. I now leave you with a clip from the musical. Remember now, and don't deny that everybody is a little bit racist. For more information, just type avenueq.com or angelai.com.
Bigotry is never been